Welcome to Tally Talks, the podcast for rambles about Tally Hall. Today's episode is literally made today. I mean, it's about 12:30 a.m. on March 15th, which means that the past 48 hours, 2 days, have seen the Andrew Horowitz opening for Jukebox the Ghost on the Edu and Friends tour. Except I haven't really necessarily seen to that as referred to as Edu and Friends tour. One of the setlets said Andrew and Friends. But it is probably going to be most known as that time when Tally Hall just came back. We had, Andrew, and then Bora came out, and then Rob Cantor came out, and then Zubin came out. It's crazy times. As you can tell, I'm a little sleep deprived and going a little insane about this and not sure what to do about it. But I wanted to gather, the sort of bits of different stories from the night for those who are listening, who are not able to make it or just weren't able to talk to everyone. It's a very, very unique time to be in, And just even for those all who are, freaking out online who couldn't be there, you're a part of this crazy development in the Tally Hall story, too. You're all seeing this happening, right? Right? Anyways, here's some people I talked to tonight. Okay, I've started rolling. So fun fact, your guys' episode is gonna come out the week after this one, actually.
Yes.
Which in that episode we talk about how Melody and Julie are tied for most Tally Talks, but actually now Melody's going to be in the lead. So
take that, Julia.
Yeah, if you want to do speedrun introduction, I know that'll then be in the next episode too. But where did you guys come from? Who are you? Why are you here in LA?
I'm Martin Kempa. I'm from Michigan, and I like Tally Hall.
So true!
Who's that?
Huh? Who's that?
Oh, Tally Hall.
Yeah. Tally Hall? Oh.
A band.
You're here for Jukebox the Ghost?
Yeah, guys, I'm a Jukebox fan. Don't worry. Anyway, hi, I'm Melody. I also like Tally Hall. The reason why we're here is because I really wanted to go, and he was like, I'll only go if Rob's going, and I was like, I don't know if he's going, and he's like, okay. so we went, and then he came, so it was worth it.
Yeah, all the way in LA, baby.
I'm Ren, I'm local here, so I was like, oh, just a nice little quick drive up to LA, why not? And that band called Tally Hall is really cool, and quite a few of the members may or may not have performed, and that was super insane.
Literally.
Yeah. What was a play-by-play of yesterday for you all?
Insanity.
Yeah.
My life has changed.
Literally. It was so insane. Just the moment seeing them come out on the stage, just seeing them in person. For me, the person was Rob. I don't know. It's just he's inspired me so much, and I've looked up to him for so long, and just to know that he's real and everything, it's just so awesome.
Yeah, no, it was super crazy. I think I was really excited when Rob came out, but when Zubin came out, I was I lost it, and it was just a super cool experience to see that all kind of come to fruition.
Yeah.
I was singing so loud I lost my voice partially.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I was just I was not expecting Zubin to perform. I'll be totally honest. I was oh, maybe he'll be in the audience.
Yeah.
Cannibal, oh my god.
Cannibal.
My second most favorite song, and it's amazing.
It was
they did
definitely
twice.
a experience to say the least.
Crazy. This has been my favorite one so far, and that's coming from someone who's been all the shows. Okay, so I consider myself partially an expert in this field, perhaps. But yeah, this has been the most exciting one. I'm so glad I got to see it. I also got to talk to Tommy, and he was awesome, very nice.
Shout out Jukebox the Ghost.
Shout out Jukebox the Ghost, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jukebox.
They're amazing.
Bora did Bohemian Rhapsody with them for their last song.
He did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Tonight.
Yeah.
And Andrew did a backflip.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
You
And
gotta-
he landed it, and everyone cheered.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
6-point landing or whatever gymnastics it is. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then he actually flew across the audience with like fireworks. It was crazy.
Yeah. He said, "Hey you!" Ah!
he crowd surfed.
It was epic,
All that.
unreal.
And
You
then he
wouldn't
actually-
believe it happened.
Literally, and then he disappeared into thin air. So it was like a smoke bomb, and then he left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that all happened, by the way.
Completely real.
You missed it.
Not
Sorry.
fabricated at all. We were told not to record it, so
Oh,
like
yeah.
secrets.
Okay.
hush-hush.
Okay. Yeah. What are some other things that happened that you didn't expect? You know, you got like Andrew backflip. But, you know, like what are some other things?
I got lyrics of Perfect. I didn't know they gave out lyrics. I thought it was only like set lists, but
Yeah.
I got lyrics.
Yeah. I think like seeing them afterwards, getting to hang out, that was a very special part. That was very, I wouldn't say necessarily surprising, but it was just like a huge cherry on top of the whole thing.
I think getting to like see them like that close and in such like an intimate setting, like it was like a really like surreal experience. 'Cause it's like, you know, we all like sat and like would watch like all of the like videos and stuff like that for when Tally Hall was like still making music and everything, and so it was like a whole nother experience to get to see that in real life. So like just seeing all of them on stage like that, like I think that's what was like the most crazy thing to me, and I like was not expecting to be so like emotional over it.
They were also kind too.
Oh, and then my
Yeah.
God, they were such sweethearts. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very nice that they did take the time to talk to like people
Everyone
and
who
just
wanted to.
because you know a band doesn't have to do that. They never have
Yeah.
to do that.
No,
There's some
yeah.
concerts which have been amazing, and it's just like, you know, they're tired, they want to go home, and that's perfectly fine. And so just the fact that they take the time to talk to us
Exactly.
fans.
Oh yeah, like you can really tell that they do care about us, and it feels nice. It
Yeah.
feels nice to like feel like seen by them, and that they acknowledge like what like people in the fandom are like doing and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very special. Tally Hall is so special.
Yes.
Yesterday they were a little bit stilted, but I think
They definitely warmed up today.
yeah, they warmed up to
Yes.
people today.
Yeah. I mean, first time back on stage with that audience, like all together in a way
Yeah.
like that. That must have been
14
lot.
years.
14
years.
And we got to experience it, guys.
We got to hear Perfect live for the first
Live.
time. What?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, and I got to tell Zubin about Tally Hall Part 2, Part 2.
Yippee!
Part 2.
Yeah.
There's only one Part 2. I
yeah.
don't know
That's
why, but
yeah. Hawaii, you know, if someone starts making parodies of your videos, they get to be Tally Hall Part 2, Part 2.
True.
Yeah, so stay tuned next week for that
We're gonna do-
episode.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and while not all of Tally Hall Part 2 was able to physically be here, like we did get on call with Holly and Julia, and they got to like at least say hi to a couple of the members,
Yeah,
even though
that
no
was
one could
awesome.
hear each other. But the sentiment still counted.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. That was a great part.
You guys have anything else that any other thoughts? Just-
Rally Hall!
Rally Hall. I know.
Get them
I've been in such denial for so long of anything happening. So I'm like, whoa,
It's
Rally
crazy.
Hall.
Yeah, no, this I think definitely gave a lot of people like hope. So
I know.
Oh, yeah, for
hopefully,
sure.
crossing fingers, toes, legs, everything.
And even if this is the extent of what will happen in like 10 years or something, it's still insane.
Insane
Yeah.
to
Zubin and Rob
Yeah.
and Andrew and Bora.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, speaking of the future, like Sonic Lunch, if they can get Zubin, he's a busy bee.
Yeah, literally.
Doctoring
we
it
saw
up.
him pass. You saw him passing on a phone, right? Or who was that?
People like saw him like pacing
Pacing
around
on
on
the
the phone.
phone.
And, like Rob posted something about him being in the green room, like doing his doctor stuff. So
Yeah, literally.
He needs to find some clear in his schedule to do Michigan long flight.
What do you like even just with because you guys mentioned Sonic Lunch, like, what do you think might hold for the rest of 2025? I mean, like, Andrew's talked about his album coming out, but, you know.
Yeah. the album
What are-
coming out. I would hope, even if it's small, for, like, an Andrew tour, like, you know, just Andrew.
Yeah.
For his new album, that would be super fun. Obviously Sonic Lunch. I think Matthew's been hyping it up a little too much for there not to be anything. I would be a little bit upset if it wasn't.
Don't do it to us, Matthew.
I know. Last year was, like, the first time where it's like, wait, he was actually right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, so I
Still love Matthew, though.
I feel like big things might be happening.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out that I have predicted so many things that have happened already this year, so I'm gonna keep being my delusional manifesting self and say it's gonna happen.
What are
Sonic
some of the
Lunch,
Sonic Lunch, guys.
2025. It's gonna be crazy.
It's really wild.
What were some of the things that you...
Oh, like literally the day before Rob tweeted out that he was like, oh, does anyone want to, like, you know, get the Not a Trampoline, like, vinyls? Like, if I was literally talking to my family member, like, the night before, being like, I really would love a vinyl of that, like, and then the next day that happened, and then, like, half the things that Matthew is, like, posted about or, like, put on for, like, Treetown Sound, like, 2 minutes beforehand, I'll be like, oh, I bet he's about to play this song, and then he does, and I'm like,
The gift of prophecy?
Right, I know, that's what I'm saying. And then, like, when this was happening, I was like, there is no way that at least, like Rob has to show up, right? And then, lo and behold, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for recording with me.
Yes.
Talks! On a YouTube comment, Project Letters says, screaming, crying, pooping on the floor. Okay, maybe that last bit is unrelated, but holy flip. I've never been more sad to be a British minor in my life, because right now I'd be right over there, ready to witness what they have in store next live if I wasn't stuck on this silly continent, unable to leave without parental consent. Honestly, if you get the chance to see these people who haven't performed in 10 years performing live again, please cherish it, because I would kill to be in your position. But yes, crazy stuff that literally the other day would have been a pipe dream we were sure would never happen in a million years. This fan base is truly incredible to be strong enough to get Rob and Zubin back on stage. Bean Collie writes, I am still losing my marbles. I was just animating blissfully, unaware until I opened YouTube at like 3 a.m. and see the reunion. I almost cried. I was genuinely hyperventilating. I genuinely never thought we'd get anything even close to a reunion, so I'm still in complete shock. I think I've told like all of my friends and all of my relatives at this point, and I don't even feel bad about it. Pack of Rats writes, it was awesome. I was freaking out at almost 2 a.m. because Tally Hall basically reunited. I haven't been into Tally Hall for that long, but this was still insane. I honestly never thought I would see a concert in 2025 with Rob, Zubin, Andrew, and Bora. I'm also hoping Sonic Lunch happens this year too.
Joe Cube.
I started recording.
Joe Holly Cube. Okay.
Joe Cube.
This is what we're gonna talk about right now.
Okay.
6 sides, 6 members if you count Bora. I'm only missing Ross and Joe.
Yeah. It's his cube too.
It's that's what Rob said. Rob was like, it's a bit awkward because Joe's not here to sign his own cube. And but you know what he said to me? Because I also had them sign my Marvin's cassette.
Ooh!
Sorry, I thought I heard Tally Hall upstairs, and I froze. But what Rob said, he's like, he believes in me that I'm gonna get all of them one day. But I have.
They're like Pokemon. You gotta catch them.
Gotta catch them all. I'd love to meet Ross. I mean, Joe's probably gonna be the hardest.
Ross
though.
is a cool guy. I met him. He signed a set of 6 for me
Are
at
you
Sonic
serious?
Lunch. Yeah.
Oh my god.
And then I got stuff signed on a Good and Evil sleeve. But Yippee! It's not as cool as the Joe Cube. But it's
not as cool. I mean, Joe Cube's pretty sick. I made this at about 2 or 3 in the morning, like back in November. I was like having like a bad mental moment, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna make a Joe Holly Cube.
Doing something when you're feeling like that.
Exactly.
Is the most important thing. Like whatever your outlet is in a moment like that, find something to do. Find like for me, I love writing essays. It was my favorite thing in school. I will watch a movie and I will write 6. This is not going back in the sleeve. There we go. It's not. I have it in cardboard because I have to fly to New York with this, and it doesn't. And I don't want to break it.
Did you bring it to get signed?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And it did.
Where did you both come from?
I came from Long Island, New York, Bayshore. Marauders are the team of the high school. I did not play on the team in the high school or go to any of the games, but like I guess Marauders go. Woo!
Yeah. I born and raised in LA County over here, but recently moved up to Eureka, like very, very top of California, for college. And I made the 11-hour drive down here today. I actually didn't know that I was going to be doing this until about midnight last night.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
This
11-hour
was
drive.
extremely on a whim, but honestly, being up there and being with my best friend in the world and singing, those like 11 hours disappeared. Yeah, Sean.
Shout out Sean.
Shout out
Sean's
Sean.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sean was a real one.
No, yeah, he was awesome. I feel like those 11 hours just vanished as soon as I was there with my friends. It was so worth it. I'm so glad I came down. And it was like snowing. There were like severe weather warnings, and I don't have chains on my car, and I've never driven in the snow. My mom's like, you might have to turn back because this isn't worth risking your life. And I'm like, I think it might be, mother.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
I beg to differ. But I'm just ecstatic. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it felt like a proper Tally Hall show. Obviously, Joe wasn't there. Bora filled in Joe's part. What? And Jesse.
Ross.
Jesse filled in Ross. Is it Jesse or Tom?
It's Jesse.
Jesse.
Okay.
Jesse filled in Ross. I remember that. I'm sorry. I'm a fake fan of
You're a
Jukebox
fake.
That Goes.
Yes.
I like Let Live and Let Go. I listen to it all the time. Other than that, I'm not listening to a ton of stuff, and it should change because they're a good band and
The
they're
song that's
fantastic
playing right now.
live.
Do you
They're
know the
so good
song?
live. No.
Dude,
Everybody's lonely
I want to get into Jukebox the Ghost
on
really bad.
radio. There's another
Listen,
song
Jukebox
that
is great.
goes.
Every second you don't listen to Jukebox. Every second you don't
You
listen
could
to
be
Jukebox.
listening to Tally
You could
Hall.
listen to Tally Hall or Anatolia by Feed Me Jack.
Dude, I'm gonna miss out on listening to those same 2 albums. I'm gonna.
There's a lot more Jukebox the Ghost albums.
That's true.
And they are bangers.
That's true. I only know a couple songs, but I mean, I'd love to get into them more. Wait, can I tell the story of the Joe Holly
Yes.
cube getting thrown on stage?
I'll get out
Yeah.
of the way. This is your moment.
Okay,
This is your moment.
Here, we could get the back row
Okay,
here.
yes, okay, wait.
Sit in the chair. Very
I'd like to
professional.
tell you all
Represent.
a tale of Tally Hall. Okay, so here we go. Worst / best moment of my life. Basically, so I bring this from Eureka because I'm like, I have this Joe Holly cube, right? I made it out of a cereal box a few months ago, and I'm like, I want to get this thing signed. That'd be so funny.
You threw it on the.
No, okay, stop. You said this was my moment. So I bring this. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be so funny. I'm gonna get this signed by the members, and I did. But the thing is, I have this with me. Just like it doesn't fit in my bag. It's bulky as hell, so I'm just holding it. And I made a friend in line. Shout out Kyle, and he's like, dude, you gotta throw it on stage. And I'm like, what? Like that sounds really rude. And I'm like, he's like, no, you gotta, like, trust me. Like, I know things like this. Like, you just gotta throw it. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. And like, while they were playing, like, he was like between the sets, and I was just like, so, like, I was like, no, dude, I don't want to throw it. And eventually, they like finish up a song, and he's like, now you do it. And I'm like, you do it. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. You do it. So I'm like, okay. And then I toss it, and he's like, no, don't throw it. Show it. And the whole time he was telling me to just hold it up, show it. But I thought he was telling me to throw it on stage. And as soon as my face got hot, I started sweating. I was so embarrassed because I realized I'm now that guy who throws shit on stage because it's gotta be about me. I was so embarrassed. But you know, Andrew made a joke about it, and it's fine. And then he ended up saying like, oh, it looks like we're all here except Ross. And it was really good.
And Joe.
And Joe.
The
But
man
no,
on the
but
cube.
he said, yeah, but he's like, oh, this is Joe, so now everybody but Ross is here. That's funny. And now, so yeah, it ended up working out. But okay, here's the kicker though. My friend that I met in line, Kyle, he's like, he types something on his phone and shows it to Bora while he's like cleaning up on stage. And Bora reads it for like 30 seconds and then nods. And then he scans for somebody in the audience. He's like, whose cube is this? And I'm like, that's mine. And he's like, you? And he nods. And I'm like, what's happening? And then I turned to Kyle. I'm like, what was that? What did you write on your phone? And he's like, you're gonna be really glad that you met me in line. And I'm like, what? And that's Vegas. So I tell my friend, I tell Sean, I'm like, record. Something's gonna happen, and I don't know what's about to happen. And so a couple minutes go by, like they finish cleaning up on stage. Kyle says, you're gonna be glad that you met me in line. I'm like, what does that mean? My cube is on stage, and Bora grabs it and goes backstage, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Is he gonna just hand it to me or something?
No.
And then, sorry, train of thought. And then, so a couple minutes go by, my friend's recording, or I think it might be Kyle recording, I don't know. Bora hands it to me, personally, and it's signed by him. And oh my god, I'm so happy. That was the first signature I got. Bora right here. I was just ecstatic. And now I got all the tallies over here. I got it signed. And what's something that was really, really embarrassing and a big misunderstanding between me and my friend, it ended up being really good, and I'm just very happy. And I did not think that this thing I made out of a cereal box at 2 a.m. a couple months ago would turn into my prized possession, but I guess it is. And it's not that well made. I really wish it was made out of like solid steel. Yeah, like a tungsten cube. I wish this was like 400 pounds. Cause it's really it's peeling up. I gotta reglue it.
You can
but
fill it with like sand.
yeah, I thought about like putting like a bell in it so I could like jingle it. But yeah, that's how this cereal box became my prized possession.
Beautiful.
And that's the story. That's it.
On YouTube, Fish Florida's Best writes, actually, what is happening? Totally going crazy over this. This is the closest we'll likely ever get to a full reunion. Like, actually, what? This was not on my 2025 bingo card. Tally Hall is genuinely the best band I've ever heard, and I finally have been given the smallest hope for the forbidden third Tally Hall album. Probably won't happen, but a man can dream. Floofy Usagi writes, I'm freaking out, dude! I watched both of the shows you streamed and was totally shocked to see Rob, Zubin, Andrew, and Bora to be all on the same stage again. I also loved how they changed the first half for the most recent show. It makes me wonder what they'll have in store next time. Wheatley writes, love that Rob and Zubin are back, but they still have jobs and I don't believe something big can happen. Gotta Go Quack writes, I'm feeling a mixture of pure ecstasy and nerves. Literally couldn't stop shaking, like actually. I was pleasantly surprised by Rob's appearance and utterly shocked by Zubin's. I just hope that this means they're dipping a toe into performing again, and that this will spark the desire to jump in all the way. Or at least play a few more shows. With a bit more heads up for those who need to make travel plans. Wawaster writes, I've been conflicted on whether Tally Hall is definitely coming back, or Tally Hall is never coming back. And I'm so happy it is the former, at least to some degree. Swordbird writes, when I first saw the post about Rob and Zubin being seen at the show, I was in an airport and about to board a flight. I was incredibly excited, but just assumed they were there to support their friend. It was not until I was well in the air that I learned they were actually performing. It took everything in me not to scream with excitement in the middle of a crowded airplane. Honestly, the past 2 days have been a blur. I don't think any of us expected this, but it gives me hope for the future of the band and fan base.
You want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, you rolling? Yep. Okay. Hi, I'm Andrew. No affiliation with Green Tie. It's known online sometimes as Beeps Room. I'm a big Tally Hall fan. Been listening since middle school on and off, but I got really super into them like around summertime, and I've just been riding that high ever since, and I'm stoked to have seen them tonight. It still doesn't feel real. Yeah, here we go. Highlights for tonight you wanted? Shoot. This was crazy. This was crazy. I also got them to sign my Marvin's cassette. It just doesn't even feel real. I kept turning to my friend Sean, who was with me, like, I was like, that's them, like that's them, you know, like the guys that we draw and that we talk about and that we share clips of and laugh about. It's like we're in the same room as them, and it just didn't even feel real. Um, I'm so glad they played Cannibal. I love that song. That's been my favorite song for like a little while. Like I flip back and forth. But you know, I really love Cannibal. Zubin's vocals are always beautiful. Like he just
Zubin's a fantastic vocalist.
oh my god, I just can't even. And I got the chance to show him a drawing I did 2 days ago when I didn't even know I was coming down here because I came down on just by the seat of my pants. I showed him a drawing that I just did a couple days ago by coincidence, and I wish I remembered what he said. He said something like that's solid or something like that. He kept saying that about because like my friend Sean, he also showed him some art that he did, and like he said something like that's solid. I really wish I remembered what he said. But Bora did tell me something when I was telling him the cube story, you know, like how I tossed on stage and I didn't want to. I wrote it down in my notes right after so that I wouldn't forget what he said to me. Let me see. Yeah, so like he said, when you get older, you'll realize your peers don't have to control you. And I just felt like I was just schooled by him. I'm like, so right. Can I swear? Okay.
It's gonna just bleeps.
Sorry.
This episode of Tally
I just like felt like he schooled me. I'm like, shoot, you're so right, Bora. My peers don't have to control me. So next time I feel like I'm being peer pressured, which I totally wasn't, like it was just a misunderstanding with me and my friend. But next time I don't want to do something, you know, I will remember Bora's words that were spoken directly to me. That is crazy.
Speaking words of wisdom.
Speaking words of wisdom, you know, it was just insane. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of listing everything that happened, but it really all was just like a huge highlight.
Yeah.
Avsky writes, really surprised and extremely happy. I woke up for school to find one of your videos of the concert and was shocked to see they got to perform together. Hope they keep finding a way to make music together. Love your videos. Gumball's Art and Productions writes, I am still freaking out about this. I never thought we'd ever get Rob or Zubin to perform, but to know that almost all the members were there, this is such a good sign for the Tally Hall community. I hope we get to see them at Sonic Lunch this year. From the user, you guys ever try natural ketchup? I'm crying, I couldn't go, OMG. I thought it was really good. Cannibal was so fussing good, and I'm surprised Zubin and Rob could show up. It looked so fun, too. I hope everyone who went had fun. Mina Walker writes, Tally Hall, technically hidden in the sand, was the reason I got into playing the ukulele in 2022, so seeing them mostly get back together is amazing. When I first saw the video of them playing The Whole World and You, I didn't really know what to think, lol. But I'd love to open a show for them one day. Same with a certain singing robot band, but that's for another day. In response to the show, Jupiter writes one word, Bazinga! User Amia, I'm probably butchering that, says, I'm freaking out! I really wish I could have gone to the concert, but it doesn't matter because I can still watch it thanks to the great internet. My mom probably wouldn't let me anyway, let's be honest here. Anyway, we are so back! I'm so happy, and I hope they do more. I may just be wrong about stuff since I only just heard about it, but I'm honestly just happy. Not Kazoo Lover writes, Tally hallucinations! Finley Forevermore writes, I'm so insanely happy. I wish I could have been there for perhaps the closest we've ever gotten to a proper Tally Hall reunion. Stellar Dragons comments, I am literally freaking out. I was literally crying and screaming, chanting all his Tally, all his Hall at the top of my lungs, texting my friends, the whole 9 yards. Sun Raisins writes, this fulfilled my heart so much. Sadly, I couldn't go because I live in another country, but this felt so special, and I've been crying so much, because there was a point I didn't have so much hope for them to come back. This is so magical, I wish I could meet them one day in person. What was a highlight of the concert for you?
It's hard to pick, but it's probably either Cannibal or Never Meant to Know. Good and Evil is my favorite album under the Tally Hall name. I think I still prefer Hawaii Part 2, but you know, hearing the opening track of my favorite album by my favorite bands, it's like, it's a song that means a lot to me. It's like something that I sit down and I hear that song and I know I'm going to listen to it again. And I know that I'm in for it again. And so hearing that live, you know, means a ton. And I mean, Cannibal, it's just a great rock number. I mean, the energy in the room when Cannibal's playing, it's holy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cannibal is just a great number. I mean, it's just like a heavy, heavy rocker. Everyone loves it. Everyone's jumping. Everyone's singing. You know, it's like, you know, it's a great, great song. Zubin, you know, he only wrote a couple things, but he's a brilliant songwriter. He's a genius. Everything he wrote is gold. And he hasn't done a solo album. And it's like, dude, I would buy 10 copies. Zubin, if you're watching this, if you hear these words, I'm here for it, and I support it. And you can make it about medicine or something, or like good eating habits or whatever, and I'd still listen. So please, man, please.
Beautiful. More reactions to the show from YouTube. Tattercat writes, 48 hours of involuntary stimming every time someone posts a picture from the performance. Honestly, I can't believe this is real. Andrew and Bora are awesome as always, and seeing Rob and Zubin having a good time on stage gives me hope for more Tally Hall action in the future. I wish I could have been there more than anything, and I'm super grateful to everyone who recorded and photographed the shows to document for everyone else. Hopefully one day we'll see all 5 of them play on stage again, plus Bora too, because he's awesome sauce. Wove of the Sun writes, I have been cured of all mental turmoil. I no longer have crusty hair and ashy knees. My grades have been perfect. I now know my part for my orchestra class. I am moisturized, because within these 48 hours, I was so happy! I couldn't go to LA, but I'm just glad even 4 of them were in the same place and performing music. And I'm super glad that there were recordings of it so I could be there vicariously. I was unaware until like 20 minutes ago. Mr. Marble Eyes writes, actually in such shock! I don't think Tally's Hall is officially coming back at all, but the fact that we got Rob and Zubin up on stage playing is incredible. And then Ross, and most likely Bora, will be at the Seattle shows. That's gonna be every Tally except for Joe on stage in such a short amount of time. Even though it's super unrealistic, this gives me hope that we might get a full-on, or close to full-on reunion at Sonic Lunch.
You asked for specific highlights of the show, and like I gave those, but like the highlight, it's seeing Tally Hall.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, obviously it's not the full band. It's like Sans, Joe, and Ross, but like,
yeah,
it felt like being at a Tally Hall
Wait,
concert.
did you say Sans?
Well, Sans before Toby Fox meant without.
Hello?
I'm sorry, I'm too well read.
I thought you were saying Sans because you were talking about Zubin and Andrew, and together they're like teal.
No, Sans means without.
Oh, I thought you meant like Sans Undertale.
No, I was not talking about the winner of Tumblr Sexy Man.
Dude, you can't say Sans anymore. It's a ruined word. I'm sorry.
Without.
Okay.
But without them, but like, still the energy in the room, the songs being played, it felt like Tally Hall were back together again.
I know.
And it was magic. It was magic.
It was insane. It was surreal. I just wish I could just relive it forever and ever, you know?
Actually, favorite moment after the set, Zubin, you've seen it in the other clips, and you guys obviously saw, but Zubin came up to me with his phone out and asked me for a selfie.
I saw that.
Because I was wearing a forehead tattoo. And he said, even when we sold them back in the day, no one wore them. So he's
my God.
Thank you for following through after all these years.
That's so...
Oh my God, it's so meaningful.
Dude, you might have to get it permanently tattooed now. I'm not
getting a permanent forehead tattoo. I've already got one. I've already got one.
There's no
musical one, and that's enough dedication, I think. I've done the thing. Stella Octangle, and it's wrong. No one pointed out in the comments. I know there shouldn't be lines inside 3 of the triangles, but
whatever.
You know, whatevs. Whatevs, man.
Who cares?
I can get it lasered later.
I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I don't have any tattoos yet. I mean, But I mean, I'd love to get a Tally Hall tattoo. Like I was thinking, like the Pingree EP, like image, like
ties.
just like the 5 little icons they have. Like maybe I don't know where I would even get it, but I want to get because I just love Tally Hall, dude.
Yeah.
And like
What was your highlight?
yeah.
So the microphone's not gonna pick up on me right now.
No, listen. We're interviewing. Is your name public on Tally Talks?
It's Emma.
Yes. Okay. We're interviewing Emma now. Give me that. It's your turn, Emma.
Okay.
This is really assertive.
So you're gonna have to ask me questions because you
Oh
have
shoot.
the
What
microphone.
was your highlight?
Oh, what was my okay?
Your highlight.
Oh wait, no,
You
I'm
don't have
asking.
the-
I have the microphone.
Okay, yeah.
What was your highlight, Emma?
my
of
my
tonight?
highlight of I'm this is the second night,
Okay.
so it's like holy moly. A highlight of tonight for me was hearing Hummingbird and you
Oh my
live, like for tonight.
And you.
Hearing those live was pretty rad.
Hummingbird was insane.
Another highlight was being able to have a 20-second conversation with Rob. That was pretty rad, and yeah, it's still been surreal for me because I'm always in the boat of like Tally Hall's not going to come back. They've all gone off on their separate ways. We can't get our hopes up. I was all like, this is going to be an even show.
Can I say something really quickly?
Yeah.
I was in a very similar boat. Specifically, I was like, listen, Joe, Andrew, Ross, and Bora, they might still do stuff. But, Zubin's a practicing doctor. I bet he'll never get the time off. And Rob, he works for Disney. I bet they won't ever let him. And you know what? I was wrong.
It was pretty wild. So my brain still has to wrap around the fact that I, heard stuff like Cannibal live. What timeline are we in again? But yeah, I've had reoccurring dreams since I got into Tally Hall of them coming back because of course every Tally Hall fan goes through
That's
that
what
phase.
you do.
So just the fact that this has happened, I'm like,
I was cool, but then I saw you want to run.
fascinating.
Look, in my defense, my phone will.
You want your phone back now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Heike writes, I'm really happy, TBH. When I first heard the news about the tour, it looked like a miracle to me. It was unexpected since they were on hiatus for almost 10 years. But I also felt sad because I wasn't able to go there. I hardly hold my tears at that time. It also made me sad to not see Ross and Joe there. I already didn't expect Joe to attend the tour because of his situation, so it was okay for me, but I did for Ross. It's alright though. Also, I literally watched the whole recording of the show on my TV's YouTube to feel like I was in the concert, but it did not work. Silly Sharky Duck writes, I almost cried. I want to go see the show live so bad, but I have school and my parents wouldn't let me go to the USA. I have a little bit of hope. Could this be hints for a potential reunion for Marvin's 20th anniversary? Possible. Jason Clark writes, I'm so very happy. First this year I got to get the Bora plushie and Joe and Andrew figures, and now this. When I saw the post from Project and Tally Ball, I started crying. In the airport and on the plane while watching Zubin sing Cannibal. I'm really hoping to find tickets to the Seattle show if I can. Crumble, I think, comments, Rah! They better be at Sonic Lunch! Bunny writes, I really hope this means there's something big for Sonic Lunch this year. Bingley writes, this means they're making 6 more albums, right? TBVM writes, I genuinely thought I was going insane when I saw the notification they were doing stuff again. Brucker House writes, Rob, Zubin, Andrew, and Bora could tour for a Tally Hall 3rd album, and I would go bankrupt supporting them. M.I. Jadecraft writes, I have been crying. I don't know why. I had a stroke when I heard about Zubin. Did I mention Zubin's my favorite? Antimatter says they had practically the same reaction as Project. On the show, your Uncle Charlie writes, I thought it was cool. These were only just a fraction of the stories that could possibly be told from this concert, but I really appreciate everyone who is willing to comment or share their stories at in the venue, around the venue, outside the venue, poor audio quality and all. And I wanted to just say thank you,
listener or watcher if you're on YouTube or Spotify. It'll be audio and visual podcast. But anyways, thank you for listening to Tally Talks. This was supposed to be published a bit sooner, but while driving home from the concert, my car got hit by a little rock in the back window, and it shattered the window, so I have been a little preoccupied with that. But it's fixed now. So now I finished editing this episode in iMovie, which I do not necessarily recommend editing an iMovie on your phone. But you know what? Made it work. Yeah, I'm just rambling now. Tomorrow night we have the first of the two shows where Andrew and Ross are performing in Seattle. So looking forward to that. On Saturday, we're going to have an episode of Tally Talks with Tally Hall Part 2. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, just thank you for listening to Tally Talks. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Opal the Thing for supporting Tally Talks on Patreon. It's pretty awesome sauce. It's very awesome, and it helps make transcripts possible. I will be posting very shortly a transcript of the entire first episode of Tally Talks, and hopefully being able to stick that on the website too. Either way, just want to, keep making it more accessible for everyone, or just being able to read back and look at things. It's pretty fun. If you decide to join the Patreon, you could do it for free or do it paid. Either way, you'll get some cool little extra little bonuses and alerts when episodes come out, and sneak peeks perhaps. There's some fun stuff on there and to be on there shortly. So yeah, check it out. I'd like to give a thank you to Saucely's for joining on the Patreon. And also Saucely's is just awesome. But yes, thank you for joining the Patreon. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say for right now. The concert was a few days ago by the point I'm finishing this, but my brain is still exploding. It was a pretty cool time, and a really cool time to be in fandom and to just freak out online and in person. It's pretty rad stuff. I think it's just important to just be so appreciative of the time that we are in right now. It is so very exciting. And yeah, thank you for listening, and have a good day. By Tally Hall.